I'd like to call the May 20th workshop meeting to order at 7 p.m. with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Fire notices, if you go through the kitchen to the left, there's a fire exit, and if you go in the back, go straight out, make a right, there's a fire exit. Roll call, Linda, please.
Councilman Hurley?
Here.
Councilman Moore?
Here.
Councilman Nelson?
Present.
Councilman Walls is excused. Supervisor Hoffman?
Here. Motion to approve the previous workshop minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
No nays. I make a motion that we pay the general highway bill.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
No nays. Passes. Committee report, Councilman,
Think so.
Nelson.
Let me think now. Have a meeting next week, I think on the 28th, to talk about some grants. We have a meeting. I actually invited the town clerk and the planning board chairman. It's like a green energy type, to get information on different grants we might be available for. So I've been working on this for a while, and I decided to invite John Paul, because he's the chairman, and I think all the stuff of the planning board, I think that affects him. And also the town clerk, she does a lot for the town. So the three of us are gonna have a start on that meeting. I believe it's the 28th, if I remember correctly, or 27th of next week, to kind of get that ball rolling and see what they have to offer and what's available for our town. So anything for green energy, they have different grants available, so we're going to look into some of that stuff. Kind of excited, hopefully there's some value to that. Spring cleanup is one of those things that been on my mind, because it's a budget issue to me, so we spent almost $8,000 on that, and I really feel we need to discuss that. Talking to you earlier, that this is the most tags we've ever given out for a spring cleanup. I just feel like it's not used enough by the entire town. I feel we have to come up with either an every other year thing or something to save some money for the town. Like in my neighborhood, not a lot of people used it, some people have used it, and then if you drive around town, it's like the same thing, you know what I mean? Like some people have 4 or 5 things. And I also find an issue of people coming on to properties and scavenging, hunting through the things that people left up. I think it's also somewhat of a safety issue for certain residents, and then these, they come, they dump everything out, and just makes more of a mess and blow stuff all over the road as well, because, you know, our residents take time and put stuff in the proper order, and then someone comes and rips and tears it, next thing you know, it's all over the place. I saw that in a couple places within the town over this. Just a concern I have. I don't think we need to finish this discussion today, but I think it's definitely something we need to figure out by budget time going forward. Apologize, the budget's just big on my mind because we were so high last year, and I just don't want that to happen again. So everything we do can save a few dollars is important. I asked the town clerk to put the Memorial Day celebration on today's agenda, and I just feel it's important that as many people as can attend to do that. Linda does put on a pretty good show, and she puts on a movie afterward. I think it's something we should come support anyone for that celebration, and that's all I have today.
Anybody want to discuss the spring cleanup?
Yeah, just curious, you said we had more, I forget the word, tickets or
Tags.
tags. Like I know I bought one for my refrigerator. So that would be a positive thing, right, that we had more tags?
It is,
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
So it is a positive thing, but you know, so there's many other options that we can do without doing it through the town. I mean, I know it's not the hassle, like for you, a refrigerator not be easy to get rid of, but there's so many other services, and if someone needs it, I think that sometimes we put that expense on the individual instead of the entire town budget. It is a $9,000 item that we do spend on this, and plus those tags, you know, just because we sold tags, there's an expense involved in that as well. So it's not like we make any money on it, it just gets passed forward from our hands to waste management's hands and back and forth. It's just a big expense that, you know, not many towns do. We know it's just another expense, and to me, there's not enough use of it anymore in the town. When I moved this town 19 years ago, everyone used it, and it was a very widely used thing. In the 19 years I've lived here, it seems to go less and less and less, and I just think it's a value, and also, you know, it's also a weight issue, you know. People could easily throw away some of this stuff in their daily garbage and not build up to, where it's such a weight issue for this one big expense for the town. Where if we did it daily, it wouldn't be as much and we wouldn't feel the expense as it is currently.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the tags are all passed through back to waste management for
So
whatever
what
that item.
happens is, we pay, Ulster County Resource Recovery to take that your refrigerator, we pay them, I believe, $25, something like that, don't? So we pay for that, we don't collect the money and put it towards the cleanup, it goes back to,
Ironically enough, somebody grabbed my refrigerator before they picked it up.
you really have to pay for it.
Yeah. And that also comes to the safety issue too, a little bit too. I mean, I noticed a lot of people, and at midnight, 1 o'clock, I'm a camera person, I have cameras all over my house. There'd be people picking stuff and going through stuff at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, because they're scavenging for scrap metal. You know, it is slightly a safety concern too, because, you know, that takes all that out of our town too, because they know, because we posted, it's publicly posted that there's this spring cleanup. And I just feel it's an expense, and it's also some of the safety things. You have all these people on your property, and over that time, I got a couple phone calls of people going through people's yards and stuff like that. So, you know, I have twofold issue with spring cleanup. So.
And I want to emphasize one thing that he said was, you know, on that Friday, I put my garbage can on the curb, and I noticed a bunch of the stuff that was on the curb, I simply just threw into the dumpster. And we could all do that, you know, over the weeks as we're building up, throw it in the dumpster. It doesn't need to be thrown in a pile and let people go through. People have gains and small stuff, throw it in your 96-gallon can. You know?
On the other hand, I think it's great that they're coming through and taking the stuff, because it's not going to the dump. It's, whether they scrap it or whether they take it home and use it, it's not going to the dump. So I'm in favor of them knowing we put stuff out.
Yeah, I would necessarily agree with that, but at the same time, they make a huge mess. They make,
I'm
you
sure
know,
there are some
I
spots.
actually went out
haven't seen it.
and confronted a gentleman one time, so he's going through my neighbor's pile like this. I said, wait a minute, clean this mess up. You know, I don't wanna see the trash all over the place, and if you're not gonna take it, then keep it clean.
We had somebody do that to our
Yeah.
stuff in front of our house. I had to go out and clean it up 2 or 3 different times, because they'd dump the thing out and go through and pull what they wanted and leave it dumped out. So it'd blow the stuff in the road, so my daughter and I had to go out and clean it up multiple times.
You're right, if we can get the metals out of there.
There's
we
the
get
neat people and the not neat people.
Yes, John Paul?
Would maybe like a centralized container here at the town hall solve some of the problems?
So
like a week-long-
I believe it was me and Alfie were talking about, like, the town could go through and pick up the big stuff and take it to the junkyard and,
The only problem, I don't wanna interrupt you, but people put metal out, the town is never gonna get it because we're just going through this right now, everybody grabs it right away. The town will never get metal. We had the dumpsters down here, remember?
Yeah.
Where we put the metal in there, and the people were going in the dumpsters and taking the metal out. So, I don't know, that's always gonna be a problem because metal's worth money.
I was actually thinking of just any, the big, non-metal stuff, just,
yeah, putting dumpsters out here.
I mean, you might be able to refine the amount of use and the cost by, just, honing in on how much use there is and who uses it and who doesn't. I mean,
The problem is, like, one house that I passed, they had probably a 20-yard dumpster worth of stuff out.
yeah, well,
And that's the kind of abuse of the system. And
I mean, they'd have to get it to town hall, so that might slow down how much they put out.
It's just, I don't know. I don't have all the
It's
answers.
just- yeah.
Honestly, I'm not saying that anything I'm saying is a perfect solution, because I don't believe there is one. I just think there needs to be I think the conversation needs to be had. And honestly, if we don't make a decision this year, maybe next year, to me, it's just an issue, it's been an issue for the past couple of years, and it's an expense, it's a lot of trash, and it's a lot of wasted resources, in my opinion. I think we're wasting resources on this, because, so my house, I did put a bunch of stuff up, and a bunch of people took the stuff, but then you go see people and they have mountains and mountains of debris and just stuff that I don't even know where they get it from. Sometimes I feel they ship it in, and I've seen that happen too. My one neighbor shipped in couches a couple of years ago, and I confronted him because all of a sudden here comes a pickup truck with 2 or 3 couches on it, and that was coming from another area. That's another concern. So we pay for things that are being picked up that people actually ship in because there's abuse of the system. Yeah. And just sitting here, I just don't like the abuse anymore. So
I can see that, but also I don't want my neighbors stacking up stuff for a year or two on their property waiting for a town collection.
I would like to do what Kathy's up to me, I'd like to do away with it totally, but I'm only one person here,
Yeah.
so, every town, if you look at history for others town, like the city of Beacon did it forever, and we're nowhere near the city of Beacon. I just happen to have family that lived there for a long time, they did away with it 15 years ago for all the same conversation we're having today.
On the other hand, if you live in the city of Kingston, all you have to do is call them and they come and get it in a few days, and it's not once a year.
I'm not opposed to that, but we don't have enough infrastructure for
Right.
that either, so that is a great idea, and I don't disagree with you. I just don't think we can put that burden on the highway department the way the highway department is right now.
I wouldn't be surprised at Waste Management, like if you wanted to get rid of a refrigerator, if I called them, they'd say, yeah, we'll pick it up and this is what it is. We'll put it, you either bill you or take up the money right there. I mean, I know across the river, people who are paying their own garbage, when they had something special, they would call Casella or whoever it is, county waste, and they would all say, yeah, we'll pick it up, but it's gonna be X, Y, and Z.
So the onus is back on the consumer and not on the town.
Oh, correct, totally.
I'll have a conversation with Waste Management this coming week.
Yeah.
So about that, so maybe that's something we could
I
find
mean,
out.
per item, I mean, it's certainly, look, they're set up to take money in.
And I see so many on Facebook, I'm looking for them right now, that'll come and pick up any metal you got for free.
Yeah, Bruce Finch.
Right, I don't know who it is, but you give them a call and they'll come and pick it up for free, they said.
Yeah.
So,
He did at my house.
yeah, so,
And I have to change my statement a little bit. I'm gonna ask the town clerk to deal with Waste Management, because she's the one that emails them all the time, so I'm gonna say, I'm gonna do it, but really I'm gonna pass the buck a little bit, so I just wanna be clear about that.
Is that all you have, Vinnie?
It is.
Councilman Howard?
I'm sorry,
So I had a quick,
sorry, yeah, sorry.
not about the trash pickup, but about the green energy stuff. I've been following the Sunny Act as it's been going through the New York Senate. It passed unanimously at the Senate. Last I heard, it's going to the House, and that allows homeowners to purchase a 1200 volt plug-in solar system for their house, which I think is really going to change the landscape a lot with green energy. So just something to keep on your radar as you're looking into grants and stuff.
I am, so whatever I can do to save is what I wanna do right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Hawley?
There's a few things that I'm working on, but the two big ones is one is in development. It looks like they didn't issue a declaration last month. They're pushing for a negative declaration next month. I also received 2 files. One was from the attorneys for Xenia Development, talking specifically about Sweet Meadows, and I got a conflicting one from Stop Xenia Development from their engineers about the same issue. So I'll be going through both those reports and try to decipher the engineering lingo of it all, to find out how it will directly affect Sweet Meadows and downstream from that. So I'll have more for you on that at the board meeting. And also digging deep into the short-term rental issues that we have. And I was hoping to have a report tonight, but I'm still missing names and addresses for some of the short-term rentals that are active in town. I found 13 of them, 10 have never registered, 3 have registered, but they're out of date. And my suggestion will be to send them a packet with the law, resolutions, registration information, this is what you gotta do. But I'll be looking for more information before that letter goes out. And let people know that they have to register the B&Bs in town, so. And then a couple of things we came up last night, or the other day at the town planning board meeting about private roads, road maintenance agreements, and also, what was the other one? Laws of notifying residents of work being done on their properties, sheds or buildings, additions, how to notify people. Which ones to notify and which ones they don't need to notify. So we're working on something like that. Okay, does that make sense? Or did I make mud out of that? Okay, so those are four of the things that I'm working on, and I'll have more information. Yes, sir.
John Azina, is it primarily, and I know you haven't had a chance to get through the engineering course, but do you have a feeling that it's primarily about water supply?
Yes, it's about the water supply
Uh-huh.
and downstream from there. So I guarantee one side's gonna say nothing's not gonna bother anybody, the other side's gonna say it's gonna affect the entire world.
Sure.
So I'm gonna compare the two, try to accomplish a logical thing. There's a lot of things there's not much we can do, because it's a Woodstock-Ulster issue, but we then can, as a board of town, say, we're concerned about this, that we have some serious issues.
How are they doing wastewater for that? Are they planning on doing their own treatment, or is it also?
No, they have septic systems above ground, or what do they call them, mounds? They're not doing underground, they're doing mounds in their development. That's the latest thing.
Is that because there's so much rock?
Yes.
Yeah, the way that works is you have to have basically 4 feet of usable soil before you hit the water table or bedrock or basically hard pan. And then if you have like 2 feet or 30 inches, you can do a shallow trench, which basically is the pipes are a little bit in the ground, and then you mound up like a foot, and then if you don't have any of that, that's where you go into these big mounds.
Yeah, and that's what they're looking at, the mounds, so. Any other questions, Kevin?
I attended that meeting in the town of
Mhm.
Ulster, and I can tell you it was awful in the respect that no one spoke loud enough for you to hear them. And when someone asked about mics, they totally ignored it.
No.
It was awful.
Oh, wow,
It
okay.
was awful. And then one of them said, oh, well, my wife says my hearing aids don't work very well. Who cares about what your wife says about your hearing aids, So then he goes, anybody who can't hear me, raise your hand. And it was 3/4 of the audience that raised their hand, and they still did nothing.
Where was the meeting held at?
The town hall.
Town hall,
in
Ulster.
Ulster.
The mice.
Ken, I have a question for you. You mentioned about the Airbnbs.
Yeah.
You said the 3 that were registered have expired and they didn't re-register, so.
They haven't re-registered with the inspections.
Okay, so
Okay.
pretty much, I just wanted clarity that so this be a building department issue that they haven't so.
Yeah, right, they haven't been re-inspected yet, it's
So-
an annual thing.
Do you know if they've called their building department or anything like that, or you don't know anything?
I don't know,
Okay.
no, I have a file here, but there's no contact information.
Okay.
Something I'm looking into.
Have you talked to the building inspector, found out if he's followed up on any of the 3 that have not, or not?
I did, and he hands me the file and says, this is what I got.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Didn't have much more information than that, so, and I know the other 10 have no registration information whatsoever.
All right, thank you.
Bobby?
And you sleuthed the other 10 through what, Airbnb or?
It was an easy process. I went through online, had my daughter sleuth it, find out Airbnbs through Airbnb and Verbo.
Uh-huh.
They won't give you an address, but they give you an area. So then Emily went online to look at the Google Maps, saw the pool and backyard of this one, matched up the pool with the pictures online of the particular ones, find out the exact address. Then I went to the county office to get information. Airbnb is required to pay 4% tax to the town or the county. Then, so I've matched up their information with the information I found and found that all 10 of those are legit. They're paying 4% taxes, but they are not registered with us. And then I had to go on to the county information, looking up who owns that parcel of land. And I found the owners, most of them, of course, do not live in the area. They live in the city or New Jersey. So I now have names and addresses and contact information for each of the plots, which that B&B is being used as.
Does not the county 4% pay us back some of that?
So that's a county tax.
County gets the
That's
whole tax.
room and board tax,
We
yeah.
can get our own.
Yeah. So.
Thank you for doing all that.
So, any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Moore.
Hey, I finally got something here. We went out and we had a meeting with Michelle Enchi's office about lots of money for the bridge replacement on Wintergreen Myers Road. We had, they're gonna send us an application and take it from there. That's, it's very short, but it's, I don't wanna go into too much detail of it. It's not, but we can, if we get it, we get it. If not, I ask for 300,000 and, see.
And we also have one other feeler out there with, Matt, I forget his name now, no,
Cats,
huh?
cats.
Hess, yeah, and he works for the DEC, and he's another one that's looking into getting us money for that project over there.
So
So,
it didn't take long either
No.
to get these people to get back to us.
He actually came here, went underneath the bridge, looked at it, went over there, looked at, make sure we weren't lying, that was a trout stream. So he came, we talked to him, last week?
right,
He came yesterday, he spent like 4 to 5 hours here and over there going through it, and he sent me by the time I got back to work, he had the application sent to me, so I got, Stephanie's gotta start working on filling the applications out, and hopefully one of them will work out.
and the DEC guy did say when he was there, that being that they seen a trout in the stream, that's more in our favor of getting, right, of getting help from
Yeah.
them. So that was a good thing, I wish we'd seen the whole school of them.
I'm not gonna tell him I went to Hannaford's and put that in there, but
So that's about it, but,
That's this bridge right here?
No,
No,
it's
Wintergreen.
Wintergreen, across the
No.
street.
it's actually a culvert.
It's a culvert, but we call it a
Right,
bridge.
that's caving in.
Uh-huh.
But we have to replace it, so we're trying to do it through grants, cause it's not gonna be cheap.
And that's, we have to get a permission from the landowner and that too, right, write a letter to the landowner. And if they say no, then
that's what
the
happened.
county will write a letter that'll say yes. So no matter what, it will get put in.
It's just gotta take 6 months. Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry, Joe, Paul, go ahead.
That's okay. So what is the estimated time of how long that current structure is gonna hold for? And how much are we looking at cost? I just heard the number 300,000, is
I
that?
asked for 300,000. I think we
That-
had a price at 200 and something before.
That was a bid, an actual bid for the construction of a new one?
Yeah, but that was years ago. That
Oh.
was, you know,
Okay,
so we went up. And as far as the engineer saying, we did get an engineer report a few years ago. And he said, oh, last 5 years maybe. Well, I could tell you right now, let's see, it's about 4 years, and Al testified and said, it's bigger than what it is now.
John, why don't you go walk underneath there tomorrow?
yeah,
Get a hold of me and we'll go underneath there and look at that bridge.
okay.
Yeah.
The culvert pipe is pretty
Bring your
scary.
boots,
I'll bring my hard
Bring
hat
one
too.
bring your boots.
Anybody that wants to come there, just let us know, and I'll take anybody underneath there that wants to look at it.
Yeah,
And there's
I'll look for a trap.
I have pictures, but pictures don't do it justice, I mean,
Yeah,
You guys see it in person?
there's no
Yeah.
exit
yeah.
out of there. It's a dead end.
Yeah,
No way you can get out of there.
I mean, that cuts off how many homes? I mean,
18, I believe.
16 to 18
Yeah.
homes. From ambulance service, fire, and even school.
that's the whole bottom of it, all rotted out, the whole, that's like 17 feet long, the whole thing's rotted out. I don't know who that is, they can wait. Then that's some more of the bottom that's rotted out, and this is above the road there, whatever, the top of it is separated that far and pulled like that far away.
So they don't have long to go.
So let me get this,
Okay.
whatever this was, yeah.
So it's not Sawkill, it's the side road.
Yeah, it's
Side.
Wintergreen.
Oh, Sawkill will be easy. The
It's
county,
a county,
county,
they fix
county
it.
bridge. Back there, it could be a bridge too, but we have to go 2 feet, 3 feet wider to make it a bridge. And, then we have to start all over again. It just can't be done as a bridge, but, the other way, the culvert pipe is good.
My question would be, if you're going for grants and stuff to help you out with this, wouldn't you have to have up-to-date estimates on the cost of this? Because I can't imagine asking for money that you can't prove what you need.
So the engineer, we have pricing, am I correct, Alfie, we have up-to-date
This here is the
pricing.
Oh,
engineer's
okay.
report.
Well, what Ed was saying was, it was a couple of years ago, and I'm
Well,
like,
we
that's
It was a
started-
couple of years ago. It was a couple of years ago.
We started this 5 years ago, and the engineering company, GPI, kept putting in for grants to Bridge New York, I believe it was. Am I correct, Ed?
Yes, yeah, Bridge New York.
And it kept getting turned down, and every time we mentioned it, it was like, we can't do it, you gotta wait for a grant. But,
And the other one is the bridges. We're a small town, I don't care what you say, politics are involved in everything there. And we get turned down from them grants, and that really burned my behind.
Yeah, again, my only question was, when you're writing a grant for something and looking for money,
Right.
I would think your estimate has to be up to date, meaning probably within 6 months to a year.
yeah, I
If you
believe
submit something 5 years old, they're not gonna accept it.
It's up to date.
it's up to
It's up to
date,
date.
Alfie has it.
So,
In the, DEC grant is we pay 25% of it, but since the highway guys are doing work and using machinery, we can take that hours from them and the machinery to down the cost of the 25%. So we could end up not paying anything for the bridge, well, the culvert.
And at what point, if we don't get the grant, are we just gonna replace the bridge and take a loan? How close are we to that? So I
Well,
guess that's my question. As Alfie said, the bridge is not in good shape. So what point are we going to do these residents?
so
What's the turning point of that? Is this the last?
both grants will take 6 months to approve from the day we send it and Stephanie's working on. It'll take around 6 months to get approval. If we get letters that they're not gonna approve, we gotta have it fixed.
Okay. Then we'll be prepared to take a loan for that and fix this bridge for our residents? Okay.
Well, Michelle Hinchy's grant is the date that we sign the contract, okay? Date we submit the request for the money. So just for, let's figure if we signed it Friday, all right? Anything we spend on that bridge can be taken off the,
It could be added to the grant.
right, but if you don't get the grant, it's not, so. But the thing is, it has to be done.
Right.
There's no, so what we're waiting for is to sign the grant. If we can just get it signed, then boom, and then they decide,
Because any money we spend ahead of time, we don't get.
Right.
I just wanna make sure I'm understanding this correctly. I just wanna be very clear on it. So 6 months from today, we'll have this discussion, and if we get approved for this grant, we're gonna move forward with the grant. If not, we're gonna get a loan and repair this bridge.
I would say 7 months, because you gotta have time to do the paperwork, because you gotta do it the right way.
Yeah. Just because I've been here for 5 years and Dave it's been 5 years, it's been kind of pushed aside. The more we get here, the worse it's getting. You've been on the board too, and I know you're in the big boy chair, and I'm not, and it's great, and you're doing amazing things. I just think we're at the point that, I'm getting nervous about this bridge too, so in 6-7 months, we need to really make a final decision on this. So if you say 7 months, so that's what,
We've been trying to get this bridge fixed since for around 6 years, right, Ed?
And somewhere around there, yeah.
So 7 months from now, it's January, so our January meeting, we'll have a decision on this then?
I don't
Well,
think-
I'm hoping before then, so it can be
The
completed.
bridge is gonna
before-
last.
Do they do this work in January?
They'll start,
I
absolutely.
get it.
The concrete might not be done, but the bypass, stuff like that can be put in, I do know that, they did that other places. And they have heaters and,
One more time.
you all right, Ed?
I missed it, I dropped my cane there.
No, okay, just wanna make sure that's
It's
clear on that.
a, it's a process.
You see all these big, heavy steel plates sometimes in construction sites and in the city where they're working on stuff, and they'll lay a 4x8, half inch to a full inch steel. Is that an option to buy us a year to lay 2 or 3 of those out there?
So we talked about that. We have to go with what the engineer recommends. Because for temporary, it would work, but with the snow plowing over it and stuff like that, it could be an issue.
Plus it's on a hill.
And a
It's
curve.
a curve. I mean.
It's on a sharp
It's,
curve when you come around.
But it could get down to that.
Well, I mean, $400,000, the steel plates can't cost us more than $10,000.
You gotta
And
do
so-
it
And a
safely.
plow, well, the plow guy can get out and plow and do it by hand for 15 minutes. I mean, it's
You
not
gotta
a
do it
big,
safely.
I hear you, that makes sense, but it just seems like as a temporary
Yeah,
get us.
temporary you could do
No, I'm
it.
not saying a permanent fix, but something that could buy a year or two. I mean, that seems like a worthy consideration.
When we discussed this last time, the engineer did not like that idea for the weight on the bridge, even with the steel plate that's still heading.
You got oil trucks going over it, you got school buses.
Water truck.
Yesterday, there was 2 Turco trucks that went over it as we stood on the bridge looking at it.
What kind of truck?
Turco water, the big Turco water trucks.
Was that for filling pools?
Yeah. I don't know where they were going, but 2 of them.
On the
Yeah,
pool.
boy, you got something?
Is the DEC grant the Resilient Watersheds grant?
I believe so. I would have to look. I believe so. It's sponsored like through Trout Unlimited and stuff like that.
Because if it's not, that is a DEC grant that has a deadline of June 26th.
No, he didn't say there was a deadline. He said get the paperwork in, but we talked to him, there was no deadline, just when told us when he sends us the paperwork, get it as soon as possible.
Do you want me to send you this one as well?
Yeah, please,
Okay.
thank you. Ed, is that it?
Oh, yeah. That's it.
We need to, bring the town engineers in to look at the, pavilion. This weekend when I walked around town property, there's a couple of the beams holding the, roof system up that's pretty rotted. The roof totally needs to be replaced and the slats inside the roof are literally falling down. We should get them in here as soon as possible, do an inspection on that to see how we can get it fixed and move forward before the camp kids are underneath there and something happens. I'm not gonna say it's gonna fall down, but we need to protect ourselves.
So he'll make the determination at that time whether to shut it down and close it off?
Yes,
Or
give
keep-
us,
Keep it going.
and Alfie said when did you repair it last, Alf?
You were in it, it was like, what, 6, 7 years ago, probably?
Yeah, we had,
Chris put the boards up.
Chris
remember?
did,
Yeah, he
yeah.
put the boards up on it, like 6, 7 years ago. But the only problem is you couldn't get the right size board, so there was a little bit of a step on them there. So I don't know if that might have weakened shingles, I'm not a carpenter, so I don't know. But, that might have contributed to the rotten more there,
but, yeah.
and stuff up in the board, I don't know.
But I would like to make a motion, we have them come in and inspect it as soon as possible, so if we have to do repairs, we can do it before the camp starts, or come up with another solution for the camp kids if we can't get it done that fast.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
No nays? Motion. Questions or comments?
I have a question. I haven't seen anything about camp yet. Shouldn't that be going out pretty soon?
So, yes, I was gonna talk to Dan about that tonight also. I will get a hold of him because we gotta make sure we have employees. We gotta make sure they're CPR, AED certified and all that. So I will get a hold of Dan. He's sick right now, so I will try him next week to,
Okay.
if not, I will take it over and move forward with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When is camp typically?
It's, I wanna say the end of June through July,
It usually
right?
starts,
5 weeks.
yeah, it usually starts, like
Thank you,
a couple days
John.
before July 4th or right after July
Yeah.
4th,
Usually right
for
after.
4 weeks.
Yeah, usually right after July 4th.
It's 4 weeks long.
And then the only thing I have, Linda, can you, when you get a chance, can you send out the schedule for the dates for the budget, please?
Yeah.
So we can try to have it done on time. Thank you. Any comments? Oh, Samantha.
I wanted to make a suggestion, or print out some handouts. So this is talking about forest regeneration in this area, and
What kind of generation?
forest regeneration.
Forestry, thank you.
And mostly what this is talking about is deer pressure. And if you look at this map, basically the entire Hudson Valley here is kind of the deep red area of an almost guaranteed failure rate, just because there's no regeneration of the understory because of all of the deer pressure. So one thing that I was wanting to maybe put in your ear, see if you wanted to consider it, and Ed, you might have some interest in this, is applying to the DEC for DMAP area, which is the Deer Management Assistant Program. And basically what it lets you do is kind of two things. Is any landowners in the municipality can say that they want to participate in this, and it lets any hunters in the area hunt on their land. And then the second thing is it also allows a practically unlimited amount of deer tags for antlerless deer during the hunting season. So it's one of the ways that you can really kind of cut back on the deer population and still allow people to get out there and get some food for their families and stuff. So the application is due on August 1st for it. And basically what would happen is the town would have one point person that would talk to the DEC, and they would kind of manage the roster of landowners who apply to be part of it. And basically all they would have to do is just give their contact information and say, they want to be a part of it. And then that contact person would have to give a harvest report to the DEC every year, and that's it. So there's no fees or anything like that.
Seems like a good idea. I'd like to learn more information about it, but it does seem like a good idea. I can't really read this in this print though, I apologize.
Yeah, it's black and white. The map in color is a lot scarier.
When is that due, Samantha?
August 1st. So the time-consuming part, the application is short, it's just one page, just a form that you fill out. But the time-consuming part is just finding the landowners, getting their permission. You could send that out on
permission
Facebook.
for,
To let people hunt on their lands.
On their lands,
Yeah.
okay.
They would have to have a certain amount of acreage to allow someone to come on to hunt, correct?
Not for a municipality. Because since we're applying as a municipality, there's no minimum acreage requirement.
It's still so many feet from to shoot a gun from a home, like in the meadows, we could never fire a gun up
I
there.
was gonna say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's still gun
I'm in
requirements.
your
The
back.
gun requirements don't change.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's, you can't discharge a firearm 500 feet within a building or a, road
No,
or
no.
trail or whatever. But it would just expand, it would make sort of a public pool of hunting lands
Okay.
that people could.
So it would really open up private lands to hunting,
Exactly.
is really what it's doing. Okay.
And New York State also has a law that, what's the term? Releases landowners from liability. So let's say if a hunter goes out there and they trip on a rock and they, cut their head open, they cannot sue the landowner unless the landowner is, like digging spike traps or something for people on their
If the
land.
landowner's negligent in some way, he can be held liable.
Not even negligent, it has to be like malicious.
Well, okay.
So even if the landowner just doesn't maintain their land very well, that's still not cause for someone to sue
Interesting,
them.
okay.
The interesting part is the increase in doe tags. They've been very hard on that. As someone that used to hunt quite a bit, usually only get 1 or 2 tags, and it's almost a lottery system. So increasing the doe tag part of that would be a big difference too for certain hunters too.
Yeah.
So
And from what I understand is you get 2 doe tags at a time, and then once you use those, you can just ask for more and they just give them to you.
You just print them yourself.
Yeah.
In the same season.
They're done like this now,
Although it seems like a good way to feed the hungry.
And there are, there's Hunters for the Hungry. I don't know if they're active
Yeah.
here, but there are organizations that take venison.
I don't think that, there's 2 gun clubs in town. And, I don't think they would want, the only people that can hunt there is members only. And-
Well, they don't have to give their permission. So anyone who doesn't give their permission,
Yeah.
you can't hunt on their lands.
You said I can help with that, you scared me.
Oh, well, I was just saying, I know that you're a
Yeah.
hunter, so I
Yeah.
thought that might be something you'd be interested in looking into.
I'm curious everybody says there's a lot of deer. I don't know much about this, but don't they kind of self-regulate the deer, number one, and number two, what harm are the deer doing besides eating the shrubs?
Yes.
So I can go deep
Oh,
into
that's
that
what
if you
I-
want.
It should say in
So-
heartbeat.
I mean, I can speak to it too. So I have 36 acres, 30 of it is forested. And when I first bought the property, I mean, you could walk around the entire thing and you would not see a small oak tree coming up, anything that's 6 inches high.
They eat 'em.
Because they ate them and they prefer them. And with 3 dogs and going on a walk over the entire loop of the property twice a day, deer have become very aware and stay clear. And you're actually starting to see the regeneration of the oaks, which again, that's the point of this project. And without that, you don't get the acorns, and then you don't get the turkey, and you don't get the deer. And I agree with Ed. I mean, I don't think many private landowners are going to want to see people come onto their property or agree to that. But the deer tag increase, I think you're going to see favorability there. But for forest reforestation, reducing deer means everything to forest, and it's hard because it's usually a forest you're never going to see. You're talking 50, 75 years in the future that you're planning a reforestation regrowth for. So I mean, it's tough to get people to buy into that as well, because
Yeah, one of the problems is the deers have no natural enemies anymore. Wolves are the natural enemies, and they're gone. So there's no natural enemy to the deer, except for us.
And I was reading from the DEC, because deer reproduce so quickly, 40% of the deer population has to die every year in order for it to stay balanced. And that can be, through starvation, through predation, by getting hit by cars, whatever, but it's just a pretty astounding number.
Maybe they could start this for bears too.
Well, the bears aren't a problem. They're just a problem for our trash cans. Ecologically, they're doing their own thing.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir?
Yeah, not about the deer, but thank you, that's educational. I'm just kind of curious if I can get a quick update on where you stand on the whole reassessment effort.
So,
Because we're talking about the budget a lot tonight, and expenses, and
so we've been speaking with the town assessor a lot about that. I've been talking to Mary about that a lot. So we're hoping to send out RFPs, that's basically sending quotes out to get pricing on reassessment between June and August. So he goes on vacation in June, and then he just did the tax rolls. So he's hoping he'll have them set up and sent out between June and August to get quotes on a company to come in and do the reassessment.
in
Can
what
I
we.
get one more thing? Sorry, before you go ahead. Also, certain homes did get reassessment letters. Was it 35, 40, Linda? Do you know how many homes got?
I don't know the exact number, I just know it was a
So-
good sized stack of bubbles.
So like my home got a reassessment letter, so they wanna increase my assessment by $10,000. I don't know why, I don't know how I won that lottery, but I did not win that lottery, and I do know that, I wanna say it was 35 to 40 that
State
got
did that.
reassessment letters throughout the town, so that's, am I right or no?
There had to be
How
some
many-
basis
Who'd you
of
get
why
it
you
from?
got it.
I think it was more like 18.
Oh.
The
18?
assessor, yeah, the assessor's.
I mean, for this tax roll. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
there may be some that didn't make this tax roll that,
some didn't make it, but for the next year, I think there's 35 to 40 that went out recently. for-
yeah,
Yes.
there very well could be.
Yeah,
But for
so-
this tax roll, I went through and logged all the changes in assessments, and there was only more than like 18.
Yeah, but I know a new set has gone out, so this will be for
Sure.
next year, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about, so.
Okay.
The total town reassessment is what he's talking about, but also to fix some current problems. I wanna say 35 letters went out, that's the number, someone told me that, so I don't wanna speak clarity with that too, so they wanna reassess my house for 10,000, I'm actually gonna go grievance day to find out why. If it's valid, I'm gonna accept it, if it's not valid, cause I'm the only one in the Meadows that got a reassessment letter, so, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
Maybe something I did, I got a couple building permits in the past couple of years, so maybe something flagged me. I don't know that answer, so, grievance day is
Next
27,
Wednesday.
Linda?
Wednesday, the 27th.
So
Of
I
this
don't
month?
feel as, even though I'm a councilman, I'm not gonna ask that question till grievance day, I'm gonna wait and do the process, so.
Well,
Very interesting.
so, assuming that this process moves forward with this third party and he gets these out and, you know, the next date is what, next March 1st or 30th or whatever it is, would we hope to be able to employ a group and then actually have a reassessment done by that date in 27? Or are we really looking at March 28?
So he said the end of 27, but you gotta remember, when we do this, there's gotta be a lot of court cases, more than likely, when it goes out and we actually do the reassessment. It should be by 2028, I believe.
Right, but don't the court cases kind of sprinkle in after the assessments? have
Yeah,
gone
that's
out?
what I'm saying,
Right, so your process would be to get the assessments done,
done,
and then people go to grievance day, and if they're not happy, then they go to court. Okay,
Yes.
and then that takes time, whatever period that takes, I really don't know. And I'm curious, and maybe this is a far-fetched idea, maybe, you know, you've already considered this, but, you know, you've got 5 councilmen, just, because I thought about this morning, think about this for a second. Because I know a third party allows you to have liability off away from yourself, okay? But could we not put together 5 teams of 2 people and do our whole town ourselves in the next, before March? And I gotta tell you, I believe with the tools out there, I gotta believe you can get 95% of what the real number is. Just my own feeling. I don't base that on anything beyond people's smarts, what's available, and to have your numbers done by March 27 versus March 28, which then doesn't come into effect until your, you know, 28, 29 fiscal year. That's a long ways away.
there's still, but it's a lot of work, it's a lot of work, and I totally understand where he's coming from. And if you come to the town board meeting, I will have an answer for you how long he feels it would take to, I asked him, actually I think it was me and John Paul talked about doing it in-house. And I asked him about that, he said that's an option, or he wants to send RFPs out to see if that's an option.
Well, I'm sure RSP is an option, there's no doubt about that, okay? What I'm saying is that, you know, with 5 councilmen and 5 volunteers, and we've got about 600 properties, I believe over a 6-month period, we could actually get letters out, visit these properties, and do a pretty damn good calculation, and then have all those groups be coming together monthly, kind of checking each other's work. I mean, these assessors are not brain surgeons, okay? They look at the square footage, they look at the properties, they compare the comparables, and they come up with a number. They're not doing anything that we can't do.
Someone had brought up the issue of kind of the politicization of it with doing it in-house, which I think is a very legitimate concern of, you know, especially if the board was doing it, there would definitely be an appearance of political bias. And also like because when you look at like the town of Rochester and their just completely botched assessment, the entire town is pissed off at this company. And can you imagine like the entire town being pissed off at,
Well, that's
4 or 5
that's a
presidents?
projection that you're not really sure is gonna happen.
Right.
Okay, and personally, if I may, and then Kathy, if we had our 5 councilmen with 5 citizens, I don't know, I don't buy this politicalization always of I believe that we're citizens first and politicize people second. And I think that I think we could do this job. And we can find 5 people who are willing to have real estate, or financial, or maybe those aren't even required, okay? But when I think about waiting 2 years versus something that I think we can do in the next 6 months.
I'll
That's
talk to
appealing.
him about it, but you gotta remember liability too. There's gotta be a lot of liability in there.
I understand that,
When
but
someone
don't,
sues, they're suing the town, and that costs the residents more money. When you have a company, they're suing the company too, you know what I mean? So, and the town of Rochester is a prime example, when things go wrong, it goes wrong.
Can I say something about that though? Did they actually do anything wrong, or are the people just upset that the assessments went up and the town didn't warn them about that? I can remember who I was talking to about that, but
On that subject you're on, I have a friend, he's a friend, and they live in Rochester. And I said, Tommy, I said, how's that assessment going for you? I said,
Town of Rochester or Rochester, the city?
Town of Rochester.
Oh, town.
Right, that's what I said.
No, you just said Rochester.
Okay. All right. So I asked him about how things, with your assessment going. So good, he says. This is good. I said, I read the paper, they're in the paper every day, I says, He said that his taxes went down $200, right? He said, you might think it's funny, but he's an honest person, okay? He said, I don't know why. He said, but it went down $200. And I said, I think I can tell you why. It's because you got a building permit. I said, for everything you did to your house when you did it. So that's why it went down.
but I will talk to him.
That's what our problem is
and the
here.
assessor.
look, I mean, I think that the threat of liability is a real discussion. I'm not saying it's not, okay, but I also think that, lawyers, engineers, assessors.
Nobody's getting it.
I'm sorry, I can't have 2 conversations,
Go
okay,
ahead.
please.
I was just saying that I think that, dealing with a lot of these groups all the time, there's always like, well, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And it's really about probability of these things happening, okay? And I really believe that a process that included our community, explained to them what we're doing, had 5 teams, and had monthly meetings to have people to show them what we're doing, to save $100,000, that's our ambulance, that's our roof, that's a third of our bridge. And in a weird way, it really would bring a lot of people into the process to help them understand exactly how we finance ourselves. And I mean, I think that most people, you know, and I get this all the time, oh, my assessment's going up, my taxes are going up. Okay, that's the second sentence after they hear they're gonna get reassessed, which is not the truth.
Right.
Okay, it's all, if you understand it, it's all about the pie, and you're part of the pie. And right now, we have too many people who have bigger pieces of pie, they're assessed at lower pieces of pie. And so, thus putting the burden on other people.
I'll just add one other thing, and you know, this is coming from looking at the budgets of the city of Kingston, the town of Ulster, and the town of Kingston, all of which is where the same assessor exists. And the per parcel allocation of the budget to the assessor office is essentially the same in all three. So we have like 670 parcels, somewhere in that ballpark. The assessment budget in each one of those municipalities is paying roughly the same amount per parcel in all three municipalities. So even though there's a low overall number given to the assessor here, the per parcel amount in those three municipalities are very similar. So there should be, you know, in theory, some expectation that the services that the city of Kingston gets or the town of Ulster gets, we're essentially paying a very comparable amount per parcel.
I will talk to him next week about that and see what he says.
It would be great to hear.
Any more comments or questions?
I just want to thank you all for voting for the ability for us to plant a tree on the property. And I walked the property with Dave on Sunday, and we picked out a spot. And we picked out a date of June 6th at 1 o'clock. And it's going to be a hydrangea tree. So it's nothing super big by no means, but it will be colorful most of the year.
Thank you. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No nays? Motion carries.
So you were saying